1.4, measuring angles and types of angles. What I have diagrammed here is an angle. You can see it there. AB, this part right here, is a side. This part AC is also a side, and we call A the vertex of the angle. Okay, there's a couple names you can name this. I could call this angle A when you name it by the vertex. I can call it angle BAC or angle CAB. Notice that the vertex is in the middle of the angle every time you name it. And because of here, I can also call it angle 1 if I wanted to. There are also a bunch of different types of angles here. There's acute angles, right angles, obtuse, and straight. And you can see below, acute is between 0 and 90 degrees, a right angle is 90 degrees, obtuse between 90 and 180 degrees, and a straight angle, which is also a line, is 180 degrees. Postulate 1.8 is about angle addition postulate. What they're saying is, if point B, which is right here, is on the inside of the angle, they're saying that you can take each angle, so angle AOB, and add it to angle BOC, and that's going to equal your whole angle, which is angle AOC. Problem 1, naming angles. What are two other names for angle 1? We kind of already talked about this when we first started the chapter, but if I'm trying to name angle 1 here, and that's this top angle right there, I can't call it angle M. Can't do it because M is a vertex, but M is a vertex of both angle 1 and angle 2. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to end up calling this angle JMK, okay, and also just the reverse, I can call it angle KMJ. Problem 2 is about measuring and classifying angles. So if I'm looking at this protractor, no, it's a little blurry, I apologize, but this is the protractor, this is how you would measure angles. So if I'm looking here at angle LKN, LKN is right here. So if I'm looking at that, and I know it's kind of hard, I just want to highlight it, I'll erase that out. If I'm looking at that angle right there, what is the measure? Well, angle LKN is going to equal, it's definitely obtuse, so I'm going to use the bottom part, 145 degrees. And like we said, it's an obtuse angle. If we're measuring angle JKL, okay, JKL, if I look at that, JKL is right here. Okay, it's an acute angle, so we're going to look at the difference between 35 and 90. And what I do is I go ahead and take the biggest, it's 90 minus 35. Okay, I take the biggest one it's on, so that is 90. I subtract the smallest, which is 35, and I make that being 55 degrees. And that would be an acute angle. And I'm looking at the last one, which is angle JKN. Yeah, let me erase my markings here. I got JKN here. JKN. Definitely a right angle, and we always know right angles are 90 degrees. Again, I apologize about the quality of these pictures here, but let's talk about it. We're going to find if a measurement of angle GHJ is 90 degrees. GHJ is right here. They're saying that's 90 degrees. Okay, so let's erase that and let's take a look. If you see here, you'll notice that there's two lines in the middle of that angle, and then if you notice here, there's two lines in the middle of this angle, which is KLM, which is what you're looking for. These tick marks mean that they're congruent. So if this is 90 degrees, this is also 90 degrees. Problem 4 is about using angle addition postulate. So it's about that postulate that we talked about. If measurement of angle RQT, RQT is the whole angle, is 155 degrees, what are the measurements of RQS and TQS? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take RQS, which is 4x minus 20. That's my angle there. And I'm going to add it to angle TQS, which is 3x plus 14. And that's going to be 155 degrees. Again, let's work here. Again, we want to combine like terms. So 4x plus 3x is 7x. Negative 20 plus 14 is negative 6. And that equals 155. We go ahead and add 6 to both sides. That gives me 161. And then we're going to go ahead and just divide by 7. you end up with x equals 23. Now, what I want to do here, remember, read your question. What are measurement of angle RQS and TQS? So I'm going to take the 23 and I'm going to plug it in for x there. I'm going to plug it in for x there. So the first place I'm plugging it in is 4x minus 20, so I'm going to take the 4 times my 23 and subtract 20 from it. Punch in your calculator, you end up with 72. The other one I'm putting it into is a 3x plus 14, so it's 3 times 23 plus 14. Again, just plug in your calculator, and that's going to end up giving me 83. So those are the two measurements of both my angles.